Hello everybody, NightmarePasta here with a new type of video, a top 10. Me and my partner, Neon Toaster, have been debating whether we should even include this on the channel, and if we did, what list we would start with. After some debate, we decided to give top 10 Creepypasta Creatures a try. Before we go any further, we need to make terms clear. We are defining creatures in this list as things in creepypasta stories, that is a thing after the narrator or the main protagonist, or anything of similar nature. This could be an animal, human-esque thing, ghost entities, and pretty much anything of the sorts. This list will also not include SCPs, as they can have a list of their own. On one last note, this is based on personal opinion, which mine may differ from yours, so please respect my opinions and voice yours in the comments below. Let's get started with an honorable mention. The narrator in I Killed My Younger Brother. Since this person is indeed a human and is a narrator, which I cannot classify as an enemy, which is one of the rules of this list, I cannot include him, though he is an amazing character in general, and the pasta is written extremely well. The narrator talks about how he accidentally killed his brother, then later describing how he purposely killed him for various reasons, including him getting more attention than the narrator does. The whole time he's describing the story, you feel pity, only to be shocked after he reveals his bluff, which is a damn well way to earn an honorable mention. Now let's move on to number 10. Squidward from Squidward Suicide. Squidward Suicide is a SpongeBob Lost episode creepypasta about Squidward getting prepared for a concert, then doing poorly. After getting booed off stage, he committed suicide. It's a simple story, but I think Squidward Suicide is a good creepypasta worth a YouTube search. The reason to pick Squidward was because he represents what would happen if SpongeBob were realistic. Squidward is such a narcissist, and if he didn't live up to his expectations and got booed off stage, he could commit suicide. Another reason he's on this list is because I grew up with SpongeBob, wondering what would happen if SpongeBob and the gang realized how bad Squidward was at clarinet and booed him off the stage. The reason he is so low on this list is because he barely fits the standard to be on this list at all. But since he is indeed a creature that killed somebody, even if himself, and isn't necessarily the main character because it's on a SpongeBob show, he is still on the list. I promise this will be the only creature that loosely fits the standard. So, let's get to number 9. Photo-Negative Mickey. Photo-Negative Mickey is a creature that lives in Molly's castle in the creepypasta Abandoned by Disney. The story goes that a guy was walking through the abandoned Disney attraction when he goes to the employees only area. After walking around a bit, he encounters Photo-Negative Mickey, who says his famous line, "Do you want to see my head come off?" Before he rips off his own head and goes limp, the narrator runs away never to return. But I've heard stories of more people walking through the attraction and encountering him. I picked him for this list because he has a simple and weird charm to him. He's only in like one paragraph of the pasta, but has so many fans and games based around him. He is overrated in my opinion, and his blow up on opinion because of that, but he is still an amazing creature. Let's move on to number 8. The Rake. The Rake is a story of legend, set as early as the 12th century and as recent as 2006. The Rake is a slender creature resembling a very skinny person with long fingernails and black eyes that have caused many to commit suicide. The Rake is mentioned in many suicide notes, including a note written in 1964, stating, "As I prepare to take my life, I feel it is necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced to this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice, and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye." I chose the Rake for this list because it's not in any specific creepypasta, but in a large amount of random ones, and is included in many official documents, some even dating back to a 1691 Mariner's log. Let's move on to number 7. The creature in the closet. It has no face. It Has No Face is a creepypasta about a man getting tired on a road, just to stop by an abandoned house to rest for the night. When he goes to bed, a creature from the closet emerges to try to scare the man and then kill him, only to see that the man is wearing a ski mask and thinking he has no face. The creature roams over the man's body, inspecting his every body part, only to hear the man's alarm go off and get scared. The man chases the creature back into the closet with an alarm and a flashlight, never to be seen again, except in the man's nightmares. I picked the creature from the closet to be on this list because I like the fact that he is scared of the narrator, but tortures him slowly by inspecting his body. The narrator describes the sheer amount of pain he was in fear, and the creature fearing the narrator at the same time. I don't know what else made me pick him, but I guess he just really intrigued me in a way. Now, to number 6. Eyeless Jack. Eyeless Jack is a creepypasta that has one main interpretation. It is about a man who is stalked by a man, or what we presume to be a man, outside his window every day that mimics his every move, until he flips him off. The next night he woke up with his window wide open, and when he walks out and sees his friend sends him to the hospital, only to discover his kidney is missing. The next night he sees Jack, kicks him, and runs away before he trips and goes unconscious, only to learn that his friend has died of mysterious causes. I picked Jack for this list because he's a pretty popular creature, and he deserves his fame. He's not completely overrated, but he's not underrated in any way either. The pasta he's in is written very well, and Jack himself likes to mess with people. He didn't kill the narrator, even though he had a chance. Instead, he stole his kidney. That's some ghetto ass shit there. Let's move on to number 5. The Survival Guide, An Idiot's Guide to the End of the World. An Idiot's Guide to the End of the World is a short creepypasta about a guy in an airport getting text messages from a random number that gives him tips to survive the end of the world, followed up by the number saying that it's time to put what he just learned to the test. I picked the survival guide, aka the person sending the text messages, for this list because I think it's kind of freaky that this person sent not only the narrator, but everybody's tips on how to survive the world if it ended, as if a dumb prank, only to make them use what they've learned outside of the pasta. I think it's kind of hilarious how the guide decides to actually help the people before sending the apocalypse on them, and that it makes it kind of a game that everyone feels uneasy about when they get texts on their phone. Other than that, the person who I heard narrate this, Creepypasta Jr., gave this character its voice some charm, and it's really helping the character and development and everything. Let's move on to number 4. Slender Man. We've all heard the Slender Man story of him and played the games, seen our Hornet videos and everything. But if you haven't heard this Slendy, first of all, how the hell did you find this video? And second of all, he's just a tall man-esque creature in an Armani suit that has no face. He causes nausea, paranoia, and electronic devices if you get close to him. If he catches you, he reportedly sends you to an eternal purgatory where you cannot escape. Sure, we all know why he's on this list with all his fame, but why is he number 4? First of all, I put him this high because he's extremely overrated, but that doesn't mean I don't love this guy. He's still a good character. I just think his indie game fame on YouTube just catapulted him way too high up on everybody else's list. No offense, Slendy, you're just a little overrated. Let's move on to number 3. The Russian Sleep Experiment Test Subjects. The Russian Sleep Experiment Test Subjects are people that were forced to breathe in an experimental gas-based stimulant and forced to stay awake for an extended period of time. These people dwindled into insanity, screaming their lungs out, killing each other, and had a very memorable line at the end of the pasta, stating how they aren't creatures. This is what happens when you escape reality and let the true essence of human out. Stay and eat. Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within all of you, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal heaven we cannot tread. I picked the test subjects because they were regular human. They were just people like you and me, but ended up in this crazy ass thing that you feel pity for, but you know they're dangerous. And when the last one is shot after saying his line, you feel kind of relieved and saddened at his death at the same time. Weird feeling that you don't really experience much with creepypastas. Time to go on to number 2. Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer. I know, kinda hypocritical to put such an overrated character up at number 2, but hear me out. If you don't know who Jeff the Killer is, he's a kid who just moved into a new town with his brother. When they go to the bus stop, these boys try to mug him, when Jeff stands up to them and beats him up, only to have his brother blamed and sent to juvie. He later learns about our friend's birthday party, and when he goes to it, he sees the boys that tried to mug him. They try to get revenge, but Jeff ends up beating them, after struggling not to get shot, getting lit on fire, and thrown out of a window. He ends up in the hospital, and when he heals, he has a completely white body. He's driven insane, and when he goes home, he cuts a permanent smile on his face and cuts off his eyelids. He kills his mom and dad, and reportedly sneaks into people's homes to kill them. If he's spotted, all he says is, "Go to sleep." Jeff the Killer has a huge fangirl following, and as well as many subreddits, so why is he number 2 on this list? I'll put him this high on the list because he's simply an average kid gone insane. All he wanted to do was to protect his brother, ends up going insane because of it. He didn't want any of this to happen to him, but he was forced into insanity. If that's not a good enough reason, which I'm sure it isn't, just know that I just find something very interesting about this pasta. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm just in love with this creepypasta, that is. Sorry for the overratedness. Now let's move on to the big number 1. The Devil, from A Favor for a Favor. A Favor for a Favor is my all-time favorite creepypasta. It isn't widely known at all, but is long and written extremely well. The story goes that somebody, the narrator, is going through troubles in his life. His wife cheated on him, divorced him, and took his kid from him. The narrator is about to kill himself when a random person calls him and tells him not to off himself at all. This kid shows up at his door and explains that he's a devil and that he can help him. Long story short, the devil lets him kill his wife and her new boyfriend without getting caught. The devil's only catch that he doesn't talk to this lady at church. Later, he learns that the devil had impregnated her and that the Antichrist is coming to rule the world. I picked the devil as my favorite because in the whole creepypasta, which I highly recommend watching, he is so arrogant and douchebaggy, but in a way that he'd be kind of cool to hang out with on a weekly basis. He's just so manipulative and has his own weird sense of humor, and he kind of makes you want to believe that he is not going to trick the narrator, but of course, he's a devil, and he tricks the narrator anyways. Again, I highly recommend this pasta for a listen. It's a long one, but totally worth your time. Thank you for watching my list, and have a good day. To those regarding my channel, I'm wondering what's going to be up with my channel in the next week or two. Me and my associate, Neon Toaster, have decided to try to make this channel more active again. Now, I'm going off script here to tell you guys that we are going to try to make some more top 10s, try to get better at them, try to record some more creepypastas, maybe write a few of our own, and that we can't really help what we're doing. My friend Neon Toaster, associate, whatever, and I are working on a project, not creepypasta related, and it's taking a lot of time, as you've seen with our lack of videos recently. That's too is going to be a big project, and I might make a mention of it in a future video for you guys to check out on your own time. But just know that it's not creepypasta related, and that we can't really include it on this channel. That'll be on his main channel, which of course will be in the link in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and just have a nice day.